Welcome, Senator Chris Coons.
Thank you.
Thanks for making the time.
Happy to. Great to be on with you.
This is a noisy week, as the Irish would say, for Delaware. One quick comment about that?
It's been remarkable having the DNC convention, not in Milwaukee, but virtually here in Wilmington, Delaware. I think the programming's been tremendous. The roll call of the states was inspiring. Dr. Joe Biden's remarks were powerful and personal. And I think Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, who have yet to give their remarks as of when we're recording this, will change history.
Yeah, very exciting. Well, for today, we are going to talk about the sanctity of the vote. And the Washington Post is blowing up with op-eds. And I just want to read one thing quickly. President Trump says the U.S. Postal Service is incapable of facilitating mail-in voting because it cannot access the emergency funding he is blocking. How does your head not blow off?
There was a book we both read, Catch-22, that defined the idea of circular logic and arguing against yourself a generation ago. Donald Trump is making literally incoherent arguments. Day after day, he'll say, oh, yeah, no, it's fine for me to vote absentee by mail, but it's profoundly dangerous and inappropriate for the American people to vote by mail. In election after election, going back to the Civil War, hundreds of thousands of American troops, diplomats, development professionals around the world have voted safely and securely by mail in election after election. And there are 5 states that conduct their elections entirely by mail.
Sure.
So I have not found any credible expert who agrees with President Trump that vote by mail is illegitimate. We just conducted our presidential primary here in Delaware, the one that Joe Biden won, where half the votes were cast by mail. There is no threat that it will be interfered with, except by his Postmaster General launching an unheralded, unreviewed program to dismantle mass mail handling machinery and remove it from postal processing centers like Quigley Boulevard in Newcastle here in Delaware, removing the blue collection boxes from street corners all over our country. There are now impending hearings, and the Postmaster General has said he will put on hold those changes until after the election, but he can't just put them on hold. He needs to guarantee the delivery standards required to meet this election.
Right. Well, that was my question for you. That's the breaking news this morning. Fine that he's going to put it on hold. Will it be restored, though? What's been undone over the weekend? We all saw photography from all over social media of, corner boxes being collected and sorting machines. And I talked to my guys at the Calleyville post office, and they're really upset. They are the most hardworking, wonderful people. And nobody's like putting in phony overtime, or it's just preposterous.
Sharon, my office here in Wilmington has gotten 2,000 constituent calls. Many of them are expressing concern about the mail, but a majority of them are saying, what happened to my medications? I'm a veteran. I get my VA medications by mail and they're late. What happened to my Social Security check? It's late. I mailed a birthday card to my granddaughter and 10 days later, she still hasn't received it. These are Republicans, independents, Democrats, folks from up and down our state who are seeing the real impact on their lives already of the changes Postmaster DeJoy rammed through to overtime, to delivery standards, and to the physical infrastructure of the U.S. Postal Service. This isn't a business. It shouldn't be privatized. It is an essential service of our nation.
Well, it's a sacred part of our democracy. Question for you, though, can it be restored? What's been done already? What's been undone?
It can be undone, but that will take money, time, and personnel. Here in Delaware and in a dozen other places, there's documented, credible evidence that mail sorting machines were not just turned off, were not just taken offline. They were dismantled and then put outside with the trash and have been rained on for days. So they moved very quickly to make these changes. They will be quite difficult to reverse. But I've been fighting for $3.6 billion in additional resources to ensure that our election authorities can conduct the election safely in this pandemic environment. We have been fighting in the Senate, every Senate Democrat, for another $25 billion for the Postal Service. We should come together and provide these resources to insist on a free and fair election where millions of Americans will vote by mail.
Okay, I promised Brendan and your team that we would keep this really brief and tight, but I do want to talk about Senator Richard Blumenthal's op-ed, another one. Washington Post literally is blowing up with op-eds. And his concern, he begins by saying the warning lights are flashing red. America's elections are under attack from the Russians again.
Right.
Comment?
We've gotten briefings, both classified and open session, from President Trump's own director of the FBI, director of national intelligence, over 2 years now, saying that the Russians are intending to influence our 2020 elections, that they have stepped up their cyber attacks, their social media influence campaign. So that's not a warning that was issued by some left-wing media group. That's literally the people in charge of counterintelligence and securing our nation from foreign attack. Russia is at the top of the list of foreign state actors who we already know are seeking to influence this election. That calls for a robust response, more investment in cybersecurity, more proactive measures, which are the sorts of things that were done in 2018 to secure our election in 2018 successfully from Russian interference.
I mean, it's so bad that I'm thinking Richard Nixon would roll over in his grave. And some of us lived through that one. Because we have to keep this so short, what do you say to Delaware citizens here? What is our best bet for voting?
Make a plan to vote. Go to vote.org. Make sure you're registered. Make sure you know your polling place. If you want to vote by mail, it's entirely possible to do so early and securely. You can either request your ballot, fill it out right away, and send it back so you know that you've got plenty of time before the September 15th primary or the November 3rd general election. Or there are collection boxes in the state offices of our election commission where you or a friend can go in and simply drop off your signed and sealed ballot. So it is very easy to vote securely by mail or remotely. Here in Delaware, the law has been changed to make that easier for this election. And I'm optimistic that we will have a successful voting experience this fall in our primary, September 15th, and the general election, November 3rd.
You know, I'm not worried about Delaware, but I am worried about many other states. Can I get you back when you're not having such a frenetic day with back-to-back meetings? And can we talk a little bit more?
Sure. Just make sure you work through Morgan or Brendan.
Okay. Chris Coons, thank you so much. And we're counting on you.
Thanks, Sharon.